start this stream.
Okay. Stream has begun.
Hurts.
So, a quick recap then. The four of you arrived in Trunham and met the lovely Olga at the Cliffcatch Inn. Kind of took a lay of the land before going out in search of more information. You spoke to Cuthbert, the Lispy Tiefling, who sold you some very weird items and gave you some information on the crypt below. Also asked that if you see any proof that tieflings aren't evil, he'd really appreciate that. In addition, you spoke with Old Tungsten, Smith, who Tanith assisted after you'd all left, and he sort of gave you a bit more background information on what you were getting yourselves into. And he reminded you that he'd lost his hammer below. Then you went to the general store, purchased various mundane items for use in the dungeon, and descended past all the abseiling fishermen into Trunham Dock. You found...
And the general stores guy was Benison, right?
Yeah. What was
Thank
the name?
you.
Yeah.
You think so? Let me just check.
We were discussing that.
Yeah,
could
so
not
I
remember.
asked Dan and you couldn't remember. And so
Benius is what you told me.
Benius. So I was
Yeah.
like, right, he's called Benius. So his name is Benius. And yeah, you descended below. You found your way past the obelisk, putting the keys in the right place, and then found a guard dead. He had like officer's garb maybe, and he was dead on the stairs. You found a little bit of money, and you took his guard pin, or his like insignia of rank, as well as a deposit receipt at the Royal Bank that you found. And then you went through and climbed up through this big cavernous room and fought a gigantic fungal entity and defeated it handily. And that's sort of where we are at the moment.
Did we split that coin purse? It was 30 gold, but I don't think I put it down on my D&D Beyond. Did anyone else?
I did not.
You did not?
My character currently has 127 gold and 8 silver, and I think I had about 10 gold to start with.
Yeah, no, because you
But
spent
did you give
all
us
your
100 gold?
You spent all your money on the mundane items, and so that just you were like, does anyone mind if I just take that to repay what I
yes,
spent?
that was what
Okay,
happened.
okay, yeah, okay.
Look at me remembering
I was
things.
buying kits for people.
Yeah,
Well done, Rob.
Yeah.
That's a big moment for me.
I only have 22 gold, which is why because that was definitely after me spending stuff but not getting any coin back. So no, that makes sense. It all went to Ava.
It was because
They reimbursed him for the climbing kits that he purchased.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just happened I spent 30 gold and it came to 30 gold or something, so it was just an easy exchange.
Yeah.
More stuff. I
It
will
was-
find more stuff.
It was me making sure that that somebody got that gold, basically.
Sure.
Yeah.
All good.
I should get my dice out.
All good.
And so
So we were going to look around this mushroom stuff to see if there was anything worthwhile here.
Yeah, the spot that you saw it, like kind of resting in before it attacked you, it's like a little fungal nest, and you sort of go over and pick your way through it, kick with your boots, so you don't have to touch all the gruesome stuff. You see the remains of a few bodies that have been heavily decomposed, so there's very little left, just a couple bones here and there. You do see a skull that has like part of the spine still attached, and the skull is like half gone, but around the spine are two untarnished necklaces. One of them is this
Partially consumed by the giant mushroom thing we just fought. Sorry.
so it had kind of been like sitting on them and decomposing them.
Okay, right.
So it's not consumed by it, but it's like they're kind of left in its nest. One of these necklaces is like made of chains and has like several little baubles in different shapes or in different colors kind of hanging off it. They look like prayer beads. It's a necklace of prayer beads. And in the and then the other necklace that whoever this very fancy person was wearing is kind of made of like a dull copper and is sort of a locket in the center. And if you pop open the locket, you can see there's no pictures inside, but like a lot of runic scribblings and magic symbols. You're not sure what this one is. It doesn't look like anything in particular, but you can tell it's magical.
Can we get this? Can we get them kind of cleaned off and stuff so that they're safe to handle?
Yeah, you can wipe them on your shirt.
I mean, no. But yeah,
you might be able to heat them up a little bit. It might.
Don't want to use fire though. Tungsten said that.
Okay,
It
but on the
spores.
necklaces later. Do you want to
Yeah,
wrap
yeah.
up? I've got something to wrap them up in. We can do it
Perfect. And
afterwards. Cool.
Tanith and Avel will work together to get them like clear of like the mushroom, and so that when we have more time to away from the mushroom spores to make sure that they're clean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not a problem. And so you're left in this room, and there's sort of a cavernous hallway leading out, like further on. And behind you can kind of see that, like hidden amongst the rock is that's kind of only visible from the top is like a slightly kind of easier path down. It's not, stairs or anything, but it's like several kind of outcroppings and things that appear to be slightly more rounded off as if they've been used before. That might make your path down a bit easier.
So basically, yeah, we have a way down that doesn't involve climbing.
Yeah. And okay. Yeah, you reckon you could get up that way as well, but it's just
now knowing
hard.
that it's there.
Yeah, it's hard to see from the bottom because it's very dark. But yeah, would you like to press on? Would you like to turn back? Would you like to just sit here and rest a little while?
I could keep going if everyone else is all right.
I don't see any need to slow down.
Yeah.
And you're making some good progress.
Largely fine. Yeah.
You're not hurt or anything?
No, I don't think I was touched, actually. He kind of like checks himself. I didn't lose any health. I was shooting from a distance, so... I don't know about Ranok. I don't think anyone's... Because I think you missed basically all the attacks, because if you ever hit, you would have killed someone. I think was the consensus, right?
Yeah,
I think I got hit by it. I got hit. Oh, no, I blasted my head against the stone whenever I was climbing up. Yeah,
yes.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Self-inflicted.
I'm like, I'm hurt, but I don't remember how. Oh, wait, that's why I don't remember.
Are you sure you're fine? Maybe don't go to sleep.
Checks out.
My pupils look okay?
You're fine.
Okay.
I didn't know you were
We're fine.
Let's push on. Shall we?
So the door leads to a very cramped corridor. Ranok is extremely uncomfortable as you move through this next section. It's very like enclosed and tight, and there's not a lot of space to kind of move. You're all going one by one. Could I have a marching order, please?
I'm guessing Rannoch would be near the front.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be
do that to
second.
him while he's away. Oof. Cruel.
I mean, you know, he would say that he was
Yeah,
up
I know.
front. Tanith will.
I
I'll
can be
take-
second.
I can take rear guard.
Okay, yeah,
Oh.
Tanith will be near Lenore then.
Third.
Yeah, third.
Very
Cool.
well. So you follow this corridor a long ways. It is still going slightly uphill, though it's not hard going by any means. And the room that you come to is this very, very small kind of round room, probably only like 10 feet by 10 feet. And inside is nothing but like there's a small kind of like hearth almost, and you can see there's like a hole in the ceiling that could potentially, like in the center of the room, potentially for like letting smoke escape or whatever. And you can see that there are like some stone kind of benches placed around the center of this hearth, and there's nothing in there at the moment. In the middle of this kind of stone fire pit rather than a hearth, to be honest. But you can hear on the other side of a very thick-looking door, there is like a faint sound of like metal rattling slightly, and a dull kind of low audible vocal sound, like someone murmuring or speaking quietly.
Is it just sounds, or is it actually like sound like it might actually be words?
Yeah, if you sit and listen from him, you can't pick out any words. It sounds more like kind of nonsense murmurings.
It's not supposed to be anyone down here.
It sounds like it's babbling, not making sense.
Hmm.
And you can hear. Sorry, I should be clear. You can hear multiple voices.
Or multiple voices.
Yeah, you're not sure how many, but a few.
Does it sound like an answer and response, or just voices
Absolutely
just
not.
kind of like?
No, it
Okay.
sounds. It just sounds like a kind of quiet cacophony, which I know is oxymoronic, but
I don't think it's a conversation that it's having.
I think I've heard of an indie band, Quiet Cacophony.
I'd listen to.
I think they traveled through town once. So this is coming from the other side of a door, or like through a darkened passageway, or
Yeah, the other side of a
how
very,
distant?
very, very thick door. It sounds pretty close.
Right.
Maybe
Okay.
not immediate.
Is there, a large keyhole or something that I could investigate?
There is a keyhole,
For-
yeah. It's not particularly large, but it's there.
Okay. Can I investigate for it being A, locked, B, trapped?
You may.
You, me.
Me.
Oh.
Investigate.
I'm not necessarily attempting to open it. I just want
I
us
understand.
to know the situation. Cool. That is 16 on whether it is locked or not.
So as you get your hands all over the lock to investigate it.
Okay. Just rub them up there. Good.
So it does not seem locked to you.
Okay. Can I just have an eye over on the traps? That
Okay.
was better. That was like 22.
You do see at the top of the door there's like a small piece of kind of rectangular metal that's jutting out towards you, and it looks to you like some kind of trap trigger.
Okay. On opening,
Yeah.
presumably. Does it? So beyond trap trigger, I don't know, like if it's something's going to swing down or shoot out.
Yeah,
or...
whatever the mechanism of this trap is on the other side of the door,
Mhm.
and it's hard to tell.
Okay. Seems like someone might have wanted whatever it is in there to stay in there. Or maybe
Mm.
for us to stay out. And he'll like point to the trigger up there. Might be able to wedge it if we want to go further.
Do we have to travel this way if we wish to go further?
You've seen no other doors. It's been very linear so far.
Well,
Has to be another way out. If the things are coming from this place, they have to be getting out past this somehow.
Possibly. Maybe someone comes and lets them out? Maybe whoever controls them or creates them, maybe he's keeping them here?
That's an upsetting thought.
A little bit. Someone possibly is the source or a collaborator. Do I think that I could wedge or bend or snap or manipulate this trigger into not going off?
Yeah, so you reckon the way this works is like the door is holding it closed, and so you think, yeah, maybe if you like you reckon even if you just had something up there to hold it open, like even your hand, and open the door, it wouldn't go off until that pin drops. So if you
Very
could
well.
wedge it up the way, yeah, you reckon so.
I'm gonna cast
sorry.
guidance on whatever you're about to try and do.
If you want, I would appreciate nameless gods. What you go for me?
Bahamut?
You're going with Bahamut.
Yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
that's
let's
fine.
try something cooler.
It could be Bahamut.
Or okay, hold on. We'll call him the Silver Wind. There we go.
Okay.
The Silver Wind will watch over you.
I feel a little bit more important. Can I, in the short term at least, I have a hammer and I have pittons. Can I, like, hammer a pitton through this thing and into the rock?
Yes.
Cool. I'm going to attempt that with guidance, or maybe Rennet can help, depending on. Is this like a strength thing, or is this a thieves' tools
This will be
thing?
a thieves'
Oh.
tools type thing.
Okay, I can thieves' tools type thing.
Do you need assistance?
If
Addition to guidance? Is it can it be a 2-person job, or is it reflexes kind of thing and only one
Yeah, this
person?
is. I mean, I don't see how someone else could help. It's just going to be him having to hammer it in right. Someone could hold the spike,
problem.
but that would make it more difficult.
He's got guidance.
sweet. And so Dex plus the kit, as it were.
Sure.
Like Dex plus proficiency, which would be that's what I was doing before, but I just thought I'd check now.
Yeah.
So that'll put me on 21, and then I will use the guidance for a full 4.
Damn.
So 25.
Yeah, you hammer that in beautifully, and you get the distinct impression you've done an excellent job, and that it's
Okay.
not going to go off when you open this door.
Maybe able to claim that back once I figure out whatever trap is on the other side of that door. That went rather smoothly. He kind of gives you a little nod. I appreciate Silverwind's assistance.
And Tanith will just kind of nod in return. Do we want to see if there's anything in the hearth or by the benches before we continue on?
Absolutely. Let's have a rummage.
Make me an investigation check.
Sweet.
Okay. Okay. Just say Val, everyone.
Anyone who wants to.
Okay. I want to guide myself this time. Oh, that's sad.
My investigation is an 18.
I got a 16.
I got a 6.
I'm
Aval,
helping.
You find under one of the stone benches, and these are very, very simple. It's like 2 bits to raise it off the floor and 1 kind of flat stone laid across the top. They're very sturdy.
Mm-hmm.
You find kind of tucked under one of them, leaning against the leg, is a small kind of journal, like a sketchbook almost. And opening it up, you can see lots of drawings. Some of them are look to be architectural in nature, like drawings of some of the rooms that you've seen so far. You also see just like what appears to be just like a sketch someone did that kind of depicts like a few people just kind of sitting and relaxing around the fire.
In this very room.
Yeah, it looks like. And that's on the last page, as though, you know, they were just kind of having a break and sketch what they saw.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see they're all wearing these thick black cloaks that have, or black robes, that have like these kind of long, sort of stranding, I'm not sure what to call them, sort of bits hang down off the shoulder at the front. Almost like, you know, the kind of bits that hang off your hoodie to tighten them. Like those, but much thicker and longer.
Like the vestment things that some Catholic priests wear around their neck.
Yeah, kind of. And you can see also that one of them is like sort of turned to the side to talk to a friend in the image, and there's a hood on the back of the robes that is like very, very long, down to like the back of his knees. He's sitting on it.
So he'll flick through quickly. I presume there are some rooms that I might recognize and some that I don't.
You
Like
actually,
they've maybe.
yeah, the only room you recognize is the entry room, with the
And
tablet
the
and the
one
door.
with this.
Yeah.
And then
You see.
So did the? Oh,
Okay.
sorry, you go.
You see.
No, you go.
You see a very large, kind of long top-down drawing of what appears to be a labyrinth. And you see, like, at the top of the page, the word terminus is scribbled there. And then, like, there's an arrow from the word terminus to another word that says just the fall. And then you also see plans for a small square room with what looks to be a shrine centered in it.
Okay. Just some of these plans and room sketches and things look like other rooms in this cave sort of system, or is it more like buildings up above?
These look. They don't look like caves necessarily. Like they've been, you know, it's all hard edges rather than caverns.
You said these
Yeah.
look, and then there was just a gap, and then you said like caverns.
Oh, sorry.
Didn't get anything else.
They don't.
yeah,
look,
same.
They don't look like buildings.
There's like some weird.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, you're cutting out.
Yeah, you're cutting
I
out.
got buildings, and then
Hey,
Yeah, no worries.
can you hear me now?
Hello. Yes. Some.
I don't
Uh,
know what's
Tr-
going on.
You sound
Tr-
at like the end of at the bottom of a well right now. Someone kidnapped you.
Not again.
Shh. Well, we were told it was going to be a surprise.
so try again. Are these cavern ruins or rooms upstairs?
They
Or
don't look
rooms
like buildings, but they are
Right.
like hard edges and like square. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like they look designed, but not like cabins.
Okay. Right. So he probably sits down on that bench and has just flicked all the way through it. And then he like holds it up. I found something. Uh, some evidence that someone else has been here. Is this like yellowed pages
Yeah,
old, or
yeah.
is it?
It's
Okay.
old.
Okay. Kind of holds out the last page. The guys with the robes. Someone was taking drawings of this place. Somewhat akin to how I am, actually. They
Uh,
seem to be wearing these robes.
Nora will walk over and, may I?
Absolutely.
And kind of thumb through it. Are there like any like iconography or anything like that that I would recognize,
So
and particularly?
just before I explain that to you, I just want to say, Tanith, you recognize those robes.
Mm, yeah, like I think like she'll like see that and then like kind of stiffen and walk over to the journal and pick it up, like from like kind of snatch it ungently out of Aval's hands and kind of glare
Oh,
down
well,
at them.
So it never made it to Lenore's hands?
I did say I gave it to you, but
Oh, okay.
you can snatch it from her. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll snatch it from Lenore then. That's fine.
There's a
What?
mild concerned face, yeah.
Mm. Then like Tanith's like kind of face will twitch and she'll like hand it back to you and just say, I recognize those.
Rest of the story, please.
Mm, not right now. And kind of look away from you. But that's ooh, I forgot the name. The Order of the Long something?
Old
Rob? The Order of the Old One? Yes?
Earth.
Or the Old Earth. Sorry, I didn't write it down.
It's alright. It's alright. It's alright.
Does that name mean anything to me?
Give me a history check.
21.
You've heard it before. From what you know of them, they're sort of these kooky fellows who are trying to return all the old gods to power and bring the world back to the way it was.
I would ask you if you were sure, but
I'm sure.
yeah, I know you're sure. That's anyway.
For the unenlightened, are these the kind of people who would do this? Should we be concerned?
We should be concerned that they were interested in this place.
Right. Such as what's through this door? Because it doesn't seem they've... Well, there was that shrine, and he kind of like points or flicks to it. I don't know if they're trying to establish that here, or they did. It's pretty old.
Do I recognize any of like the other images in the journal?
No. There's nothing in there else that catches your eye. No iconography, and the buildings or the drawings don't seem to be anything you've seen.
I don't recognize anything else, just the robes.
Well, let's hope it's just their account and not some other groups involved that they've recruited. Or maybe this is related to what they were looking for.
How old does the journal look?
Very.
Very old. Okay.
Yeah, like the bindings all coming apart and everything.
Do you want to hold on to this, or shall I?
You can. There's nothing in that for me.
Well, it might turn out to be useful later if we come across something.
They could have been on their way out when they drew that. Some of that could be hints of what's to come.
My thoughts. Indeed.
Sorry. Should we clean off those necklaces while we've got like a free moment? Tanith says, like, clearly trying to change the subject.
There's no like fungusy stuff in this room, Rob, or in the hearth?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Can we find stuff to burn? Flint and tinder and things we've got, so...
Yeah. You can chuck a couple torches in there or something.
Okay. If you wish. And he'll help put some torches down. Or I don't actually have any. I have a hooded lantern and oil, so I'm sure between us we have some sticks.
I have a tinderbox.
Yeah, but okay. It was the fuel that I was
Yeah.
looking at. But yes. Yeah, he'll help. And then when we have a fire going or something, if there isn't anything that he can hold on, like stove tools kind of thing, the things you poke fires with or anything around this hearth, I suppose we can use a sword or something and just kind of dangle them over the flames to cleanse them.
Yeah, you see, like there's a few kind of green and black spores, kind of, or not spores, like mold, kind of growing up the length of it, and they just like catch fire instantly and go up like a flare, like it's bright, like magnesium, and it sort of blinds you for a second.
That's interesting. Perhaps if this stuff wasn't quite so deadly, it would be even more deadly, used as a weapon.
Something to remember if we come across any during a fight, and we're far away.
Yes. And he'll dangle these necklaces there on the end of a sword or something.
Yeah.
For a while. And then put them to one side to cool. And when they are cool,
while we're burning stuff in like the little fireplace area, we're not like getting any like weird drafts from any secret compartments or anything like that while we're sitting there, are we?
Make me a perception check.
Oh, perception.
can I roll, or is it just for use?
Anyone's cans.
Okay.
That would be a 22.
I got good, but not that good. So.
No, nothing
Okay.
particular. Though the smoke is drawn up through the chimney above you.
Still functional. Lucky, I guess. For us.
Yeah.
This might be a good place to remember to fall back to.
We'll have to hope that we don't damage that door too much.
Very well.
Looking at the now cleaned necklaces, is there anything that has been uncovered, or are they just safer to hold now?
They're safe to hold, though you will need to spend some time with them to determine their true purpose.
Do any of these look like anything that those fellows you were just talking about might wear? They're the praying type?
No.
Okay.
No.
Are they the dull copper locket with runic scribblings on type?
Mm. If you give me 10 minutes, I can detect if there's any magic on them.
Absolutely.
Tanith will do the cast detect magic as a ritual.
There is indeed magic on both of these.
Not too surprising considering how they held up against the spores. They're both magical. Is there anything else in the room that is magical? Oh, and what school of magic are they?
They're both restorative magic,
Okay.
and there is no other magic that you can see.
Okay. Seem like good magic.
Oh.
Abjuration, restorative, and the like.
I mean, that's good to know. It's a shame that fellow... Oh, I spent their last moments underneath a mushroom, but, they may come in handy. Maybe next time we find ourselves back in this room. But we're pushing on for now, yes?
I would say so.
All right. So, I would... Andrew, are you there? No? I was going to get Rannoch to open the door.
Should we take a quick 5 there then, and then see if he's back when we come back?
I don't know. I've just seen him in the hangout for a little bit of
Yeah.
while now. But,
I'll drop a message and then...
okie dokie.
Do we want to take a break there, or do we want to push on?
Sure, that's, I mean, Tanith can help open the door. She's strong.
Okay, yeah, we can push on.
Alrighty.
I just wanted my hands free, so I'm just going to draw the bow to like full extent and be ready to fire it past
I was
someone's
going to say I
shoulder.
can help open the door as well.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll help with the door.
Is it locked?
No.
No.
I checked. Yeah.
It's not locked,
Oh,
it was
right,
just
right.
trapped.
Sorry. I had to step away for a second whenever you were...
No, it's okay.
It's all good.
So,
So-
ready.
Are we good to go? Someone was going
Yeah.
to say something?
Yes, I think so.
It sounded like you were about to say something.
I was, but then you said you made a noise like you were going to say something, and I wasn't sure if.
we could both do the same thing. So yeah,
Oh.
Lenore and Tanit, stop it! Lenore and Tanit will go up to the door and push it open.
Push or pull,
Yeah.
whatever
Pull.
this door requires.
It requires a pull.
Pull
And
it.
as you pull it open, you see, like, kind of hanging above you is a very long, wicked-looking scythe that, were the mechanism not held in place, it would have swung down and got you right in the fucking chest.
Oh, that looks unpleasant.
That does, but conveniently easy to break. If someone would just to disengage the scythe or snap it.
It could be it's an obvious trap, and then there's a more subtle one on the inside. So like Tanith is gonna like pat
Avel?
Avel's. Yeah, no, I was trying to decide if it should be you or if it should be Lenore. To see if we can spot another one. So yeah, Lenore's closer, so I'll pat Lenore's shoulder, and we'll give the corridor a look for another trap together.
I'll look, but
Yeah, just
oh
look.
boy.
Oh, is she
Okay,
not
I'll
very
look.
perceptive?
No, she's fine. It's fine. Whatever. She's good.
Insight check, Jade. Is she
It's
not
fine.
good?
She's good.
It just didn't make sense to like step back and pat Avel and like
I mean, the man
We're
who
right there.
found this first one,
I know, but he was back behind with like his bow drawn, so
it's fine.
it would have involved her going back and like basketball slapping him on the like good game. Now go find some more. So it just
All right,
needs
give me
to
a
be-
roll.
Yeah, roll it.
Roll it.
yeah.
I don't like her acting.
21.
You do not find it.
Hey,
You do not find any other traps.
You're very paranoid. Traps on traps.
Traps on traps on traps.
I mean, wouldn't be first time, right?
I don't know where you frequent. I don't think I've seen a scythe ready to swing down into my chest before. But
You should stop going to that inn called the Primed Trap.
But they have the best strengths.
Yeah.
It's one of those secret places though, but instead of a password, you have to disarm it.
Right. Having a look at this trap, is it easy to like uncouple the scythe and keep it whole? Or
The
can it
scythe
just be
is
snapped off?
the scythe is screwed in, but you could pretty easily snap it off. The wood doesn't look
Okay.
particularly young anyway, so.
Would one of you do the honors, and then I can unpitten this thing?
Lenora will reach up to break it.
All right. Give me a cheeky athletics roll.
Has to be cheeky though.
How does the 16 sound?
Sounds cheeky enough. You like reach up and just basically pull against the mechanism, and the wood of it snaps. And now you have half a scythe.
Excellent. Can I unwedge the pitten out of the thing when people are clear?
Yeah, you can. No worries.
Sweet. I've claimed it back.
Then the second trap snaps.
Yeah.
No.
So do you take
There
another?
was another scythe.
So do you take another
Me.
step forward?
No. Yes.
Okay. And you continue on down the corridor.
Are we getting closer to that sound?
Yes, I was about to say
Okay.
the sound is getting slightly louder now, and it sounds less like murmuring now that you can hear it a bit more clearly, and more like that rattling is joined with a moaning or groaning, sort of someone in pain, but several people, to be clear.
That sound living, or not the moans of the dead?
I mean, what does the moans of the dead sound like compared to the moans of the living?
I was just wondering from our experience if we'd come across undead before.
Why not make me some kind of roll?
I don't know. May well do.
We'll say nature, history,
Inside.
insight.
Can I
yeah.
insight? Oh,
If
no.
if it's
Insight
insight, it's
alone.
21. If it's the
Nope.
other two, it's 18. I'm not
we'll
sure
say
my
insight.
guy's the best. I'm not sure how many of these if we've ever even seen undead. It was just a question.
So yeah, you're walking, and you remember having to deliver a message to someone about their crypt being broken into.
Mm-hmm.
And when you delivered that message, you escorted the delivery to the crypt, and you heard a sound very much like this coming from within.
I think it just really confirms his suspicions. I'm presuming they don't live anymore. So no need for urgency necessarily. I could be wrong, but I
These are,
believe. Oh, sorry.
no, these might be the dead that are coming up in the night.
Some of them, surely. The death rattle. So be cautious.
Tanit will step closer to the front of the group, like holding her holy symbol, and
I will
prepared
have.
for turning undead if need be.
Cool. I will be bow drawn behind you, cautiously advancing into the dark. Though I do have dark vision, so the gloom.
All right. And so you make your way through, and there's a little bit of a corridor and then an open sort of doorway. And beyond this doorway, you can see very little light, but what you can see is there doesn't seem to be a floor. Instead, you see what looks to be a cage, like bars lengthways and horizontally, sitting at the exact level of the floor that you're on currently. And you see reaching through the bars of this cage are all kind of hands and mangled limbs that are kind of slowly moving, trying to reach up out of the cage. Looking around in this room, as you sort of poke your head through, you can see the walls are the same, and on the walls you can see that there's like maybe a 2-foot gap that's just been filled with corpses, and not just full corpses, but some like kind of mangled like lone arms that have been like tied with leather to corpses, so there's extra arms. And you can see that just each of these walls and the ceiling too, you can see like corpses pressing against it, reaching down towards you. You can see every wall of this room is being stuffed with the living dead.
I think you were a bit had it on the nail head there whenever you said somebody was controlling these things.
Yes. Unfortunate, but it does happen. Occasionally. Can I get a clearer thing? So there was no floor with but all of the walls and the ceiling has corpses,
So
like,
the
incorporated into the walls.
the floor too.
Oh,
Yeah.
the floor as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So it is like basically, you know,
It's
the
like
inside
a box
of a
with corpse arms reaching out.
Yeah.
Is there anything on the inside, like? Is it grills? Like, is it some way of storing the corpses to then unleash them, or is there a pedestal, or
The
like,
setup of this room
is it like for feeding
puts
them? I don't know.
nah, the setup of this room puts you more in mind of a hindrance device rather than a way of storing the corpses. It's not efficiently stored, but it's designed so that there, like when you're in the center of this room, there is nowhere for you to go to avoid being grabbed at and scratched and bitten. It is made so that you will be almost unable to traverse this room without at least being slashed into.
Right, but there is nowhere. Is there somewhere to go? Another door?
There is at the far end, yeah. And this
Right.
room, to be clear, my apologies, I keep forgetting to say where the opposite door is. It's like a really bad habit of mine in dungeons, because I'm just like, you see this room, and then you're like, well, is it a dead end? All right, we'll go somewhere else. So yeah, this room is very long. You think maybe
Okay, so it's a defensive mechanism.
100 foot to the far end, yeah, and you can see another
Grief.
door at the far end.
So it's meant
Right.
to keep
Okay,
people
that changes
from-
my mental image a lot. Okay, I was originally like wondering what the purpose of this place was.
Yeah,
Okay.
my apologies.
It's okay. Yes, they. Oh,
They're
some
a
sort of
hazard.
malevolent force. Yes,
Yeah.
they are. There's organised this. defensively. Like, it expected someone to come down here at some point. I mean, that and the scythe.
I can.
Maybe these are the same corpses that they somehow herd onto the streets? I'm not sure.
Yeah. How old is there like a sense of how old like any of like the cages and
The cages are very
like,
the
are there-
cages are very rusty, and the zombies themselves don't have a huge amount of flesh left on them. I think they've been here for a long ass time.
they're kind of desiccated and looking? Okay.
But still moist enough to be dangerous.
Ugh,
Which
that's-
is maybe my best quote today.
Possibly.
It was something for sure.
Sorry, I just gotta go update my Twitter handle.
Moist enough,
Moist enough to be dangerous.
Yes.
And don't do slavery.
Don't.
Bleeding Jesus holes.
And you said it was about Jesus.
Exactly.
about 100 feet across to the other door.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't keep them from us for that long. But I suppose if they're trapped in the cages, why don't we just? How many are in here?
Hard to say, but you would guess full corpses, maybe 100 at the very least. But there are like lots of like torsos that have just been chucked in because they can, grab and bite still.
This seems like a good place to grind, you guys.
I didn't bring enough arrows for this. I'm afraid.
Word of radiance, sacred flame. Word of radiance, sacred flame.
I mean, we could leave you here and we could come back in a week. You might be through.
You just come back and she's just like fucking Dwayne Johnson. Been grinding.
But like, I like to think it's only one arm because it's the only
Yeah.
arm that she uses to radiance.
Yes, word of radiance. Yeah.
Yeah,
Her voice is all fucked.
it's like super hoarse. Word of radiance.
Eldritch blast. Let's see. Yeah, because I can only do turn undead for one turn, and we can only move like 30 feet.
Yeah,
or
it's not called
30
turns
feet in
undead.
a
Speak for
turn,
yourself.
yeah. Well, I can only go 30 feet.
I'm about to monk across these bars.
I mean that is the. Yeah, we're just gonna use our action to disengage, and then they can't grab at us. But no, they're traps. They're not gonna work that way. Is there any kind of like, do the cages move or anything like that? Or are they on like
Doesn't
any kind of
look like
tracks?
it.
Like, huh?
Doesn't look like it.
So, but there has to be a way for whoever was meant to transverse through here for them to get through without getting fucked up.
Unless
So
they
are there any,
control the
like-
dead.
But are there like any kind of like buttons or switches?
Make me a
That might-
perception check.
Okay. Maybe there's like a button to like pull them back a few
Mhm.
dozen feet. That's balls. 11.
Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
How far is like the pathway in the middle, the concourse? Is it like a fun house where you've got to like push your way past all of these arms because it's only
Yeah,
5
so
foot wide
it's
or
about
something?
the room is about 6 foot wide, and then 10 by 10, or 10 feet high. Sorry.
Sure. So all of these arms can basically touch each other, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah,
there's
they could
no
all hold hands.
Just right. Yeah. There's no
Lots
just
of
kind of
business
like
meetings.
really squishing up and inching through.
If you like run and dive head first, you can maybe make it through a gap in the middle.
100 feet. I can go fairly far, but not without probably being grappled or something. Do you have kind of anything that could obscure our advance? in your gifts?
No, unfortunately, and like the only thing that I could really do is protect one of us to go
Okay.
across sanctuary or protection from evil and good. Um,
I mean, could we very slowly hack away at all of their arms as we go? It might be relatively easy to hit them with their limited movement, being in cages.
do have a shield.
Hmm.
Does Ragnarok have a shield? What kind of bar? How? What's his kit like, Andrew?
My
Andrew.
kid?
Huh? Yeah, your kit. Like, what's your weapon?
Oh,
Do you use a shield?
no,
Okay.
no.
Is there fungus in this room?
You see no fungus, sir.
That then gives me an idea. Um, this may smell awful, but they are packed relatively tightly together, from what I presume, and there is no fungus. We could
Just,
set one of them on fire, and then the next, and the next, and the next.
I suppose we wouldn't really have to. Yeah. All right. Uh. Oh wait, hold on. Let me. My thing does a
It
thing.
may work.
I think it's a good idea.
I mean, we can always retreat into the nearby room and bide our time.
Nothing. If nothing else, then there'll be less of them to deal with.
It may thin the herd.
All right. Tanith will get out another torch.
Do you want to attempt to throw it in there?
Yeah. No, I'll just like walk up to like the closest one. Like to stick my arm out. Light one on the left and then another one on the right.
So, I mean, you know, you can't really just like hold a fire up to a corpse and have it be on fire.
I mean, that's a lot of methane gas in there. It's a rotting corpse.
True,
Hmm.
but that wouldn't really ignite the corpse. That would more singe your eyebrows. I'm just because like, you know, if you held a lighter up to your finger.
We're a bunch of intelligent and wise individuals. We're not going to go running through a room full of corpses.
I'm not asking you to. I'm just saying I don't feel like.
We'd need some sort of fuel source.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would
Like,
it work with a fuel source? It work
I mean, if you
better?
cover them all in oil, maybe. But
Alright, let's go back.
that would
Let's go
ignite
back
the
to
oil.
town and buy a bunch of oil, and then come back and burn these zombies.
I mean, I have some
or
oil on me.
alcohol.
It might not be enough. But maybe we could get a fire started.
We can go get some of those spores from the mushrooms.
Or that. We could harvest some. Sure.
Bring it up here, chuck it on one of them.
That would definitely hurt it a lot.
But the other thing is if we can, for instance, if we had shields or like a door or something, and we had someone hold a door on either side, we might be able to, you know, kind of push our way through with like a bulkhead.
But then that leaves the zombies below us.
Oh yes,
Above.
and above. Yeah, I suppose with the below you just, you know, put things like wood down. The above ones would be slightly more difficult. Those are my those are perhaps my two suggestions. We either build our way out of this solution or burn our way out of this. So
I'm all right with burning. We want to make
I
sure that
say
these
burn.
things can't get through to harass the people above.
Okay. Should we try with some? I have 2 flasks of oil. Might get us a little way. Or we can try and get fungus, or we can not harvest the horrible spory fungus and go and buy some oil in town.
Uh, two oil, the two things of oil might get us something going, and if it doesn't work, we can go back and get some
Yeah,
more.
you're gonna struggle with like a long-term fire with
Okay.
the fungus. That's more like a flashbang type thing.
Okay. Yeah, and yeah, it's probably
Should we go
not.
buy some then? Because 2 won't do it. We might as well just go and get some.
We're going to need more oil. Let's go buy some.
Okay.
Awesome.
Just seems kind of like we're leaving really early, but yeah.
You are leaving
I mean,
later
we're
than I
coming.
expected, or not necessarily expected, but
Okay.
We are leaving what?
you're leaving a little later than I expected. It's good.
Hmm,
Like you
okay.
probably want to head back to town like once a session, on average.
Okay.
So yeah.
We don't have a huge amount to show for it. That's true, but maybe we can get fuel, wood, oil if they have it, and head straight back again.
Mm-hmm.
That bank slip.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's the bank slip. I also I remembered from the last session that I picked up one of those mushrooms that I saw in that book. So
Yes.
with was it Cuthbert or was it?
Yes.
Didn't
So
we,
Cuthbert had the book, but the actual
the mushroom guy was someone else?
the mushroom guy was Enterop.
But Cuthbert did say that he'd be interested in.
Very much so.
So-
But like,
so-
because you know, like he and Enterop, they do technically have sort of rival businesses because they do the same kind of thing, but they're like best mates and share all their research and get very nerdy excited about stuff like this. So
He was the apothecary, right?
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
so Enterop is more of the
He was a magic shop. We didn't go see him though.
yeah. You didn't go see Enterop, but yeah, he's more of an apothecary potion type thing, and Cuthbert is more of your magic items. But
Oh,
they
so-
both bleed over into each other's.
Oh, okay. I had it written down the other way around.
No.
So
like yeah, you got all
Cuthbert
your magic items from Cuthbert.
is the
And
magic.
yeah,
Interrupt is the potion.
yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we go deal with the bank and the mushroom, and maybe we spend a little bit of time with the amulets and buy ourselves some fuel.
Mm-hmm. Can we can't multitask and figure out what the amulets do on the way back, can we?
Yeah, if you're wearing them, that's how that works, right? Or do you have to take you have to take a short rest? Actually, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really a short.
Effectively, if walking back is light activity, we could
It's
be concentrating
nah.
on it
You'll
as
be
well.
panting. You have to climb a cliff,
Okay.
like stairs. So
Maybe we'll spend some time.
you just have sit and a drink in the cliff couch. You'll be alright.
If we wish.
Speaking of
Unless
drinks,
we want to see if Cuthbert can cut the time needed, but you know, or we can do it ourselves. But yeah, sounds like Rob was trying to call for a break.
yes. Can we go for a break?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Cool.
All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
I have another thought that maybe well, basically, we could possibly repair the scythe, and if we made it a polearm weapon, so it had 10-foot reach, the zombies only have 5-foot reach, and you could just scythe across the arms and
Yes.
like lawnmower them almost, uh, clean them up that
But
way.
wouldn't we need it like a windmill kind of action? Because like they're on each side, top and bottom.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, so say it was Rannoch, you could reach out to the left-hand side with your polearm weapon and just pull back and scythe all those arms off, and then you twist it a little bit, and then do it across the floor, and then you do it across the top, and then you twist it a bit and do it across the right, and then you will have cleared a 5-foot
What if we
square.
like gave? What if we all like gave them something to like eat for a bit, like throwing a dog a steak? You know what I mean?
Not a bad idea, but there is a
There are
100 feet worth of zombies. That would be a lot of food.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could find a cow or two.
Oh God.
Okay, do you want to try and carry that cow down the cliff down to get down here?
How hard could it be?
a ton
Well,
A
half
cow that
orc
weighs a ton.
barbarian. It can't be that hard.
A cow that weighs a ton.
Are you just gonna like slap it on the ass and have it run down and slowly get picked apart so it's just bones when it collapses at the end? Like some
Yes.
sort of grim cartoon. And then we quickly run through afterward.
You got it.
Not a bad idea. I think it's better not to have them at our back in case we need to go very quickly back through the corridor,
Yeah, you're right.
deeper in the cave. But
Yeah, we've got to clear them out because we're gonna have if we have to go to and from, we don't want to have a problem that we have to solve every single time we go through the room.
yeah,
Yep. I'm really glad someone other than me suggested the burning this time.
yeah.
That seems like my go-to method is burning things, and I'm like, I don't think I want that to be this character this time.
He's a practical man that carries flask oil, so it was just there staring me in the face. So, I thought, why not?
There's a cricket game on Steam, and I'm tempted to buy it. I've never played or watched cricket before, but
Oh my
the
god.
game looks fun.
I will warn you, Andrew. Cricket has a lot of complicated rules, so
Mm-hmm.
it's awesome. I love it, but like, read up a little bit if you do buy it, because there's a lot of like weird things where you'll be like, that seems dumb, but okay.
So I was saying to the others, Rob, I have another suggestion: is that we make the scythe a polearm weapon, which is longer reach than the arms, and then we just basically like lawnmower our way by just dragging the scythe through the arms and
I like
clearing
it.
them up. May take us a while, but
It would. I mean, the issues with that I can see is, firstly, like only the inner edge of a scythe is
See,
sharp.
what we need to do is we need to just make.
oh,
Uh-oh.
you're breaking up a bit, buddy.
Shit.
Your idea and like make a box sled with an edge on the end of it, so it's just like
You want a
You know.
cow catcher, like a train?
That was
Yeah.
kind of my thought with the having the doors and like going tortoise style, basically pushing through. But yeah, I mean, if you want to invent some sort of small portable locomotive with a cow catcher, and then we bring it down here and just run it through the corridor.
I mean, I could if we even made like a metal box, like an open metal box, say, with blades on the end, and then like a handle in the middle. I could just hold on to that bitch and then just run through, and all the arms get cut off. There we go.
I love the image of that, but I also love the image of you going to old Tungsten and like trying to convince him to make you like a portable metal box covered
we
in
then-
blades.
That we then have to haul up a cliff?
Yeah.
We can buy it so it'll like come disassembled, and then we can assemble it once. It's just like 5 parts. You know, it's each side of the box and the bar in the middle to hold on to.
Still, we
Instead
have to
of-
haul the parts up the thing.
Each person just has to haul like one blade, and then.
Oh, that's not dangerous.
No, it'll be fine.
So you're
Or-
talking about a flat
or-
pack death box. So instead of IKEA, it's IKEA, like iKiller.
Yeah,
Or-
yeah, like a grocery cart, but it's all blades on the end, and it's like open right there.
What you really need is like
Or-
a +1 baseball bat with nails in it.
Or you guys hear me out. Here's an idea. We get 3 more shields and form a phalanx.
Phalanx.
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
we could do
the
that.
Roman tortoise thing. Was
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
That's
Or-
why I was asking what.
But then
that's
they'll have their arms.
Yeah, but that's why I was asking what Rannoch had, because if Rannoch had a shield, we could just shield up against the bars and kind of like protect Aval and Lenore in the middle.
But then there's top and bottom.
Why? But why
Are they on the
aren't we-
bottom too?
Yeah,
Like-
they're on top.
Yeah,
there.
Ev-
they're on the floor.
Every wall and
That's why I'm
floor
saying
and
we
ceiling.
make the spiky bladey box.
I mean, I feel like all these ideas are a lot more expensive than a few jars of oil.
Yeah.
Probably. We could try the oil
Yeah,
first.
Yeah.
Although that is my now canon, like, Rannoch. That's why we make the spiky bladey box. Like, it created a people.
This is a conversation that we had on the way back to town.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
100%.
Want to cut their arms off.
All right.
So are we hitting bank first, just because it is an unknown? And then maybe mushroom things, then shopping?
Yeah, because whatever's in the bank might fund the rest of our endeavors. So let's do that.
Possibly.
Oh, we're robbing the bank?
No.
No, we haven't. We
You
have
did
a
say hit the
receipt, we
bank.
got- Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
taking the bank, robbing the bank.
We have a receipt for a bank vault item, storage box type thing that we picked up last session, Andrew. You may or may not remember, so we're going to try and claim it, even if it is ancient.
Mhm.
Are we slightly worried that this fraudulent action may come down on us? Do we want just maybe one of us to
It
go?
says the bearer of this slip, so there's no fraudulent action because we're not pretending to be somebody else. We are just the
Okay.
bearer. I asked this question last
Very
session.
well. I just wanted to put that out there so we don't all get arrested.
They didn't say the original owner of the slip. We're good.
Cool. Bankwoods.
All
We
right.
do
So
go.
you make the long trek back, having your inane conversations, and arrive to find the
Rude.
weather. Arrive to find a dreary, overcast day in Trunham, but there's no rain. You head to the bank, and inside it's all very clean and open and sort of well looked after. Looks very expensive. Sort of like filigree and stuff on, or not filigree, inlays on the floor. And you can see sitting behind rows of desks are 3 tellers, 2 of which are serving people at the moment and 1 of which is free. Young man with sort of scruffy, scraggly beard. And he's wearing sort of these like fairly standard kind of uniform robes that the others are wearing also.
Very well.
You sort of head over to him and he looks up and sort of returns his face to a neutral expression, you know, client facing kind of thing. And says, good afternoon. How may I help you?
We were looking to have a viewing of this, and he puts down the slip of paper, clearly like in front of the guy facing him.
Yeah. Man sort of frowns for a second, but then his face returns to neutral and he says, of course. Follow me, please. And he like stands up and will head towards the door behind him.
Thank you kindly. I'll pick the slip back up and follow.
Yeah. And he leads you through a corridor that has like these very heavy iron doors, each one with 3 locks. And he takes you to one towards the far end and he pulls a kind of big chain of keys out and unlocks it. Like opens it so that it's cracked and then like steps away so that he can't see what's inside. And as you push the door in and enter, you find the room beyond to be like this sort of
Filled with zombies. There's
Yeah.
another corridor.
a cage of zombies. You find like a relatively small room beyond with a sort of large chest made of doesn't look particularly old, but it's sitting in a corner. It's just like a kind of wooden thing, and like a few just sort of open-topped wooden crates, all filled with like paper and random stuff that someone's just put here for storage. Inside the chest, you find it to be about half full with gold and silver.
Oh, very well. Rough estimation, or does the bank doesn't have
But
precise details?
no, definitely not. But looking at it, looks to be 600-ish gold.
In gold and silver.
Yeah.
Is Aval the only one in there?
No, I thought everyone came.
I was just making sure.
Any number of
Okay.
people.
Yeah.
But there is no one in there when you go.
Okay. Any false bottoms in the chest?
Make me an investigation check.
I'm gonna pat Aval on the shoulder.
On his false bottom. Oh,
No, on your shoulder.
okay.
You think
You
there
want me
might
to
be?
investigate?
Yes, I'm assisting him, and he has guidance. We don't want Tanith rolling investigation.
That's fine. I chose it for a reason. So, investigation. 18. Sorry, with the blessing.
You find no alternate compartments.
Okay.
But I'm glad we went through that together.
Good. It honestly brings me joy whenever someone says false bottom. So, I think this is it. Nothing secretive.
No.
Still, considerable funds here. I think about 600 gold's worth.
You can put that to good use.
That's a lot of oil.
Oh, yes. So there's nothing else in this room
So
but
there's-
the chest and the crates full of paper?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I will
it's
take a gander
definitely
at paper.
the room definitely doesn't look like it's been used to its full capacity. Like it's
Sure.
not, there might be more stuff in here at one point, but who knows? You're looking through the paper.
So the slip is to a storage, this whole storage room, and apparently they've kept it for quite some time. We might be able to find out a record, maybe, of when this was opened, or how long they have held this space.
Yeah. Is there
Maybe
anything with,
who?
like, names and dates and stuff in the?
Yeah, so you do
crate?
see like one of the crates is full of just like like pay slips and order receipts, all addressed to a man named Simeon, and you find his last name, and it's Badarvin. I'll put that in the chat for you. And in amongst those, every so often you find like the occasional child's drawing, and like small kind of trinkets and like, random things that have just been chucked in here. One drawing does catch your eye though. It's a kid's drawing of a family, mother, father, and the child in the middle, and under each of them there's words written in a child's hand with like backwards letters and things. Mother, father, and then under the child it says Simeon.
Oh,
So the pay slips and order receipts, those are for like grown up Simeon. So these are like his own childhood things that he's kept in here. Is that right, Rob?
I mean, you can extrapolate what you want from it.
I'm trying to figure out if there's a child that should be inheriting this stuff, or if because you said pay slips and order receipts with the name Simeon Badarvin on it, and then you have a child's drawing where
The child
child
is Simeon.
is labeled as Simeon. So
Correct.
did he keep his own childhood drawings, or
He a
was
junior.
okay, your chair? Yeah,
Sorry.
is it a junior or is it like two different people? Like I'm trying to figure out if it's two different people, a senior and a junior, or
I mean, I understand that you're trying to figure it out. I'm just saying,
There
We don't
isn't
have
enough
enough.
evidence here.
yeah.
I mean, we could ask around for the family Bedavin. You would like to see this returned if there is some sort of lineage there?
wouldn't you?
I'd more than happy to. Certainly look into it. It isn't why we came, but we could.
If it is his, by right, that money is his.
Tanith will nod.
Then, do you want to ask the tellers if they know of the family Bedavin, or maybe there is some sort of city hall office?
Yeah, is there a lot of stuff in here, or is it stuff that we could all pack up?
No,
take with us?
you can take all of this with you. You could take a few.
Could?
You couldn't.
This might, I mean, it might be evidence enough if we take like the child's drawing and this slip for this room.
Mm-hmm.
Might be enough to prove of concept to someone.
Mm-hmm. And
I
if we
imagine
can't,
the drawing is very old. I imagine most of this paper is yellow.
No.
No,
Not-
but
not
the slip
particularly.
is.
No, the slip's not too old. It's filthy, but it's
Right.
not, 100 years. And the corpse of the guy didn't look too old. I mean, it was, old, but not like ancient,
Okay.
maybe Tungsten might know.
Maybe you knew him.
This is somebody
Maybe.
that, who was part of his expedition.
Would you like to go and trouble him first, or should we seek an office or something more
Ask,
bureaucratic?
we can ask the tellers, yeah, and then suppose we could go by Tungsten's and ask.
Right.
Seems like
Very well.
everybody knows everyone around here, so might not have to look for an office. Just might be finding.
Yeah, it's
people.
not too big a place.
Olga seemed to know everyone.
I can always
Okay.
go back to her. So
Who's
we
close?
vacate room, head to tellers.
Okay. So yeah, the man is kind of standing outside, waiting for you all politely, and he'll lock up the room as you all vacate. Is there anything else I can help you with? He says.
Do you know of the family Bedavin?
I do, he says, and like glances at the vault. They were the original owners.
Oh, so you're familiar. The original owners of this bank or this vault?
This vault.
So he would look quite young, right?
Yeah.
That's how you described him. Okay. Were you here when they opened it?
Not when they opened it, but
You've been here since they've loaded things into the room? Or used it?
No, I was too young then. I have had the unfortunate duty of informing Maedra that she cannot open the vault without the slip on a few occasions.
So she's
Major
still
being the
about-
wife?
Yes, that's right. Simeon Senior was lost when he went into the dark.
Was that about how long was Tungsten's journey ago? Was that
10 years.
10, 20 years?
Yeah.
Or something? 10 years. Was that about 10 years ago?
I would say so. I was only a child.
Right. What came of Simeon Jr.?
He's I'm not sure actually. I haven't seen him. I think he might have joined up with the guard though, like his father.
Right. Would you care to point us in the direction of Madra?
I'm afraid I don't know off the top of my head where she lives. I'm sure I could ask around and find out for you if you like.
You think one of the tellers would know?
Potentially. Kelvin's
well.
been here quite a long time.
Well, then we shall go speak to Kelvin. What is your name, by the way?
Marcus.
Okay. You've been rather helpful, Marcus.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And
He gives him a winning smile.
and he will lead you all back out into the main room and kind of wait politely while Kelvin finishes up his dealings with his customer before kind of introducing you and saying, Kelvin, these fine folks have a couple of questions for you. And Calvin is sort of a late middle-aged man, hair mostly gone, his skin kind of taking on that sort of slightly looser quality that you get with older folk. Yes, what can I do for you? Sort of looking down his nose at you as though his eyesight's going bad.
We were hoping you might tell us the direction of Madra, for Darwin.
Yes, of course. She, can I ask why?
There's like a moment of reticence because he doesn't want to like go around spreading this business everywhere, but he will hold up the slip very quickly and then fold it away like back into his pocket. We've come into the possession of something that may well belong to her, and we wish to return it. And he like turns to the group and back again.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I kind of like the real awkward, like everyone just kind of looking off and they're just like, yeah.
yeah. That's
I mean,
fantastic.
you know, she's got low charisma, man.
No, it was
No,
awesome.
no, I know,
Yeah,
I know,
it's
it was
fine.
perfect. That was perfect. Like, because it was you guys who were pushing for this, and
No,
I
it
love
was
that
Tan-
vote
it
of
was
confidence there.
Tanit that was pushing for this, and she's just all like, yeah,
Yeah.
because you know, if that's why she's letting Aval handle this. Because if it had been her, she's like, hey, where's Majora? We got her stuff, and that's how she would have handled it. So
Sure, use her wrong name and,
Yeah.
and everything.
yeah, Majora. He said
It's Maj-
Majora.
Madra, right?
What?
Yeah.
I heard Majora.
Madra.
Madra.
Okay, how do you spell that then?
Maedra.
No, that is
I got
not
that
what I
right.
heard.
Exactly, Madra.
One more time.
Maedrsp.
A.
Madra.
Don't do that.
I'll put it in the chat for you.
No, it's okay. I got it now. Just Rob being difficult.
It's okay.
I totally was about to write down S, and then I realized he was like,
I mean, I chose a charisma character in the dungeon crawl, so I'm happy to lead. And I know that you've been fighty and snatchy and things, so maybe he did that on purpose. But I do shout up if you wanna.
yeah. She just says, yeah.
Name is Majora.
So yes, directions to where Madra resides.
Well,
Currently.
yes, of course. You're good folks. She lives near the center of town.
Mhm.
write down her address for you. He hands you a slip of paper.
So
Thank
get
you.
Pardon?
he would so get fired in today's day and age, giving the address out of a.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, OSHA
Back in the
violation,
day
HIPAA
when-
violation.
Trying to do a good thing for people.
I know. I'm.
And that's what's
taking
wrong
it.
with these millennials.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Very charitable.
Tanith nods.
Yeah.
He'll
Same
give
to
him
you.
like a. Sorry.
He just says same to you.
Same to you. He'll give him like a firm handshake and a generous smile, and we'll go about his day, I guess, and let them go about theirs.
Very
First
well.
stop, Madra's, he says to the others when they get outside.
Yeah.
Realizing that this is possibly the conversation, all the conversation he's going to
right.
get, he like nods to you and then starts moving.
Just like
to
puts in some
Madra's.
headphones, like, alright.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Whatever.
You are very young.
Yeah.
My character is a little bit older than the others, I think, being half elf. Very well.
Very well. So you
Good of you to agree to do this. I know we've talked about keeping the.
Yeah, I think you might. I mean, depending on how insightful you are, like he was, he let you lead that with your moralistic decisions.
Mhm.
He wasn't pushing for it either way. But if this is how you wanted to go, I think you get the sense that he's maybe a little loose on. Like he's more about getting the job done, than necessarily getting it done right. Possibly, there's like
Yeah.
the slightest hint. I mean, he's not shown any kind of.
Yeah. Does she's just
awfulness.
saying like, thanks for agreeing with it. I know we were talking about keeping it, but there was a kid. Being an orphan's hard, even if it was a long time ago.
I mean, it sounds like he still has one parent, but
Still, it's not the same.
no. Does he read into that more? That you are potentially orphaned? Or does he know that? We do know each other a little bit. Well,
Yeah, you probably know she's an orphan.
okay, right. Okay, then he would realize to an extent. I, if it rightfully belongs to someone else, and that looked like quite a large amount of money on a guard's salary, I presume that was a reasonable amount of savings. I think you would have done a good job or a good deed for the
Yeah.
day.
Well, yeah, he was a guard. Why would he have all that?
I mean, he was old, potentially old.
yeah, and he was an
Is that weird?
officer.
He was an off. Is that weird? Like, this is like Tanith blatantly realizing that it might be weird that a guard had this kind of money stored away.
I just thought it was his life savings. Like that might have been the kid's inheritance.
Slips, order receipts, or whatever. Does it look guard-esque, or is this like the wife's like had dealings that it was just stored in like the vault of that guy's name?
That's a very good question. Why don't you roll me investigation?
Can Avel help me?
Aval can help you.
Okay, I will assist you.
Okay. Yeah, this is like Tanith going like, yeah, this is right, and then you just like say like, yeah, it was like a guard, blah blah blah, and like, yeah, it was a guard. What the fuck? Shit.
You're very paranoid. Like I said, it was a god. Like I imagined he'd worked his life for his kid and saved up
Why
this
would
money,
it?
and you're like,
Why
this is
why
Yeah,
is it for us to judge though?
No, it's
exactly.
not. It's not like
She's just paranoid. It's fine.
not so much paranoid, but it's more like, why would you have receipts and shit?
Professional skepticism, see? You're living the life of an auditor. I love it.
That's a 10, unfortunately. 'Cause
Even with advantage, did you guide?
I didn't guide. Is it too late to say I guided myself?
Go on then, whack a d4 on there.
Okay. Hope for 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a 4.
Yay!
You don't find
Hooray.
anything. No, I'm kidding. Uh,
Oh.
you so you see like the pay slips all come from like the sort of central palace, and you see like a lot of them are regimented amounts like every month.
Okay.
And it seems he's getting, you know, about 70 gold a month, which is a very good wage, but you know, not insane by any means.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Sh-
Yeah.
She might judge people harshly. So, like, all of a sudden, like, yeah. It was just kind of when it, like, a guard doesn't seem like they would keep, like, receipts
Yeah.
and stuff for things, but okay. Okay.
Might have just been fastidious,
Yeah, apparently.
apparently. And that means he kept his child's artwork as well, if that was his vault. Yeah, so we navigate to
Yeah.
Madra's place.
Yeah.
Also, they have been looking for a reason for us to keep this gold
Aw.
that fell within my moral alignment. But all right.
I mean, I was tempted to say that, you know, I like, oh no, we only find 580 gold or 500 gold or something. Just pocketed some, but I don't think he would have stolen. Forging the bank slip, on the other hand.
That was a trace.
He's just been waving around the fake one all this time. No, go to Madra. He hasn't done anything too awful. Did
So
you find the house?
yeah, you find the house. It's quite small. In fact, like it's a bit smaller. You know, it's not impoverished, but it's like a very small house, much smaller than you would expect someone on 70 gold a month to be making or to living in. And you knock on the door and you hear a woman humming inside, and she comes to the door and opens it, and you see she's got sort of this auburn hair that's kind of going grey a little bit, and like a kind of nice sort of comely face, but yeah, she's looks to be late 40s, mid 50s, and sort of smiles in a polite, I have no idea who you are kind of way,
Indeed.
and says, hello.
Hi.
What can I do for you?
So, we were sent by Corolla to inspect the happenstances of the dead around here, and we happened upon something that may well belong to you or your late husband.
You see her.
He's like got the sympathetic eyes on, like he's
Yeah.
playing this.
You see her expression just like immediately drops, and she says, "My late husband."
Simeon Senior. We're correct that you are Major Bedavin.
She nods, and she's like kind of blinking rapidly. And she says, "You you found him?"
Yes. Our condolences, deepest condolences. He's he's like playing this out and pausing and very sympathetic. Unfortunately, there is little of him that we could bring, that we could return to you. But there is one thing, and he gently slides the slip out of his pocket, and unfolds it and places it, like beckons for her palm and places it there.
You see like tears kind of begin to well up in her eyes a bit, and sort of chokes and like squeeze it tight as though it was a husband's hand, and like kind of holds it to her chest.
He also like pulls out the kid's picture, and we weren't sure who you were or who your husband was before, so we have visited, and just as some proof. Not that I believe you need it. And he'll like gently unfold the picture.
She like takes the picture and immediately just goes like, oh god, and then just tears.
My dear Major, perhaps you should sit down. And
She
he'll
like sniffs and nods and kind of turns to walk inside. The house is very clean, like very nicely put together. It's not impoverished, but it's been run frugally. It's like they grow a lot of their own vegetables. You can see like out the back, and they're kind of living cheaply but living well. And she's sort of like holding this picture and staring at it, and like she drops a tear on it, and it sort of smudges the kind of charcoal slightly, and she like holds it away so she doesn't do it again.
Lenore, perhaps you could make a tea or something? He kind of looks around the kitchen.
Yeah, Lenore will set about that.
Yeah, very easy.
And she'll, as she's kind of passing by, she'll be like, we found a badge, didn't we? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Did we take it
Yes.
with us? Perhaps.
We did. Like he's like kind of mumbling half on purpose kind of thing to her, and it's like there's like a fungus, and it was dangerous, and like he like kind of making excuses,
Yeah.
but only like half of the words can be heard because he doesn't want to like tell her all the gruesome details about
Yeah.
why they can't bring her the corpse up. But like, there was this. It was relatively clean.
Tanith is like sitting next to Madra without kind of comfortingly close, but not like in her space.
Yeah.
He'll put the. So I imagine at some point, this is safe. He
Yeah,
would only
yeah,
give it
yeah,
over
it's-
if it was
it's-
safe. So he
Yeah.
gives this badge and puts it, just presents it on the table or something in front of her. The gold bars. You said that they were like an. We hadn't seen anyone wearing that.
Yeah.
It might be archaic, but I did manage to take this for some identification of some sort, but
She like again just like grabs hold of it and holds it to her chest. And she's like trying to kind of get a hold of herself and like sniffling. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't cry.
if there was ever a time more appropriate for tears, then this would be it.
Definitely allowed.
She gives both of you one of those sort of like closed-eyed, sort of accepting smiles and nods.
As we said, we did visit the vault, and there is various paperwork and, well, a small fortune, really. And he kind of he's already glanced around this place. He's polite enough not to glance around it again at this very moment. I think about 600 gold, all told.
She kind of nods. She says, "We saved up so much, and it was all for Junior, but well, we couldn't get to it once he was gone."
Very yes, awfully unfortunate. I heard that Simeon Jr. joined the guards like his father.
She nods. He well, it's not what we wanted for him. We wanted to save up enough to leave this place, but you know, get him a proper education, and I don't know. But,
How old is he?
he's about 20 now.
Okay. I mean, guarding is a fine profession. It's a dangerous world out there, and people need those who are brave enough to stand between them and what this world throws at them.
She nods and says, I'm very proud of him, but, well, he was always so artistic as a child, and we just wanted to raise him in an environment where he could really, you know, make use of that. But
It's not too late.
It's not.
Thing.
If that is still your wish, if your roots are not too deeply set, I might be able to write a recommendation, or between the courts and the temples of the Silver Wind, and he'll like gesture to the cleric and the monk in the room. We may well be able to get you situated somewhere else if you so wish.
well, it's really down to what he wants now.
Absolutely.
He'll be back off his shift soon, I suppose. But well, that's very kind of you, and I'm sure he'd like to meet you.
What time of day is it, Rob?
Is that mid
It's like
afternoon?
yeah. Okay. So, should we, as a group, just stay in town for the night and then start fresh again in the morning with the oil, or do we want to try and go down there and take care of the dead group before nightfall?
I mean, the fire might burn for a while. I don't know. It might be something that we set off and then leave and then come back in the morning and see how it worked. It's just thought. We have a few other errands to run as well.
Yeah, it might be like late by the time we're done with all of those errands, so we might just, say if he wants, like, we'll spend the night at the tavern again. And then head out in the morning, so if he wants to have a chance to meet us.
When will your son be getting off his duties?
A couple of hours.
A few hours. Okay.
If you give us a way to get in touch with you, we could always have you over for dinner sometime. Least we could do, really.
I would be honoured. And
She
he'll look
smiles.
to Tanis. Tonight? Look to both of the women again. Tonight? Tomorrow?
Yeah. Yeah? Yeah? And it
Tonight?
looks at Lenore.
Tonight?
Would that be okay with you, Major? I know it is obviously short of notice.
Of course. I was making Mitsuruki, so yeah, there'll be plenty.
Is that some sort of regional dish?
She nods. It's a traditional sort of Trunham stew, lots of fish and things.
Excellent. Well, we have a few errands to run, and we can maybe smarten ourselves up, like looking across the group.
Tanith looks down at her. Like, spent some time in a forge earlier today.
Yeah.
Attire.
I was also thinking, you hit your head or something on some mossy rocks and stuff, and there's possibly like some mud or something inside of your
Definitely.
face.
Yeah.
Tidy ourselves up for dinner, a bit more suitable, of course. Do you need any of us? There are some strong lads and lasses here if you need. It's quite a large chest. If you needed it carrying anywhere or you needed help shopping.
The bank will do that for me. Though, if you If you could pick me up some potatoes, that'd be very helpful.
We're going to the stores. Not a problem.
Thank you. And she'll like stand up and go over to the mantelpiece, and you see there's like a small kind of very roughly handcrafted jar there that's like painted all bright colors, like a kid's kind of school project. And she like opens the uneven lid and like fishes for coins.
Before she puts her hand in there, I go, Madam, if you're going to lift a coin out of that, I'm going to have to refuse.
She turns to you, and you can see like there's still kind of tear streaks on her face, but she's grinning.
He is grinning back at her.
And she just says, "Well, that is very kind of you, sir. Thank you." And she'll like stride over and give you a big hug.
Okay. That's convenient. I was going to ask for one of those. And he'll hug her back. So, a few hours, 6-ish?
That sounds perfect.
Excellent. And he'll give her like a final squeeze.
Yeah. Well,
And then he'll like step back. For the others.
If there's ever anything you need, just let me know. I'm a damn good seamstress, so just, you know.
Well, considering what we have to do, a few torn clothes is probably more an eventuality than anything else. And he kind of like looks like he's dressed pretty fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll be seeing more of each other.
I'd like that very much.
Excellent. Do we wish to shop?
Yeah. So she, at that point, she would just say, "Well, off you go. I have extra stew to prepare, and make sure you get good-sized potatoes, none of the small ones."
I will ask especially. Rannoch only eats the big size. Small ones aren't worth his time. And he kind of like gives a little jab to Rannoch, who's probably struggling to fit in this house.
Yeah, it's cramped, but it's not too bad. And yeah, she'll just kind of pat you on the shoulder and say, "Yeah, thank you, love. I'll see you later." And then she like goes to find some sort of handkerchief to wipe her face with.
Let's go buy some potatoes and oil.
We could turn up to dinner. Why have you bought all this oil? You don't want to know. So he's gonna like. I imagine there's a little bit of quiet, maybe as they like walk away from that heavily
Definitely.
emotional situation or something. But you'll see that like there's a little bit of a spring in Abel's steps, and will like beam at you if you catch his eye.
Yeah, Tanith is smiling too. So, shopping, errands. We have oil, and did we want to go give Cuthbert that
The
mushroom?
mushroom. Yeah, that was certainly on my list. I don't particularly want to carry it around. If it is of a danger, seems a poor gift to bring to a dinner party.
Mm,
It is.
the kind of the mushroom that ate at her husband. Yeah, probably a real
Oh no,
God.
dinner gift.
I don't believe it was. I got this from a corner. It wasn't a cutting of that mushroom. No. He like doesn't necessarily know if that's just an adult version of this mushroom or not, but like he's no.
It is also like like one of those things where like the mushroom of like one place is like the same mushroom somewhere else. Like the whole like underground like mushroom thing that forests do, where you get like
Sure.
that network that.
The mycelial network.
Yeah.
Um,
Normally, you bring wine to dinner.
indeed.
Oh, we should bring some wine.
Absolutely. Should we go do the mushroom first and then shop for the other things, or do you want to break off?
You can split up if you want to. Might get us done quicker.
We have a few hours, and not a rush.
We were gonna ask Cuthbert about those necklaces too.
Indeed. Shall we go Cuthbert's first then?
Cuthbert.
Two
To
Cuthbert.
Cuthbert.
I see no need for us to break up.
Won't even split the party to buy potatoes. Might be an
That's the
ambush.
need. There
Well,
could
you've
be
been-
mushrooms anywhere.
You already got ganked by mushrooms, so
Yeah.
potatoes are next. Yeah, so you head to Cuthbert's, and as with last time, you find the door standing actually slightly ajar, and no sign of Cuthbert. Though when you walk in, you see the back end of him, and he's on his hands and knees, scrabbling for something under one of his bookshelves, and like grumbling to himself.
I kind of lean over the counter. Did you want to say something, Zoe?
I was gonna say Tanith like leans over and goes, "Hey!"
And he like jumps, bangs his head off the bottom of
That's
the,
what I
the
wanted.
desk.
Okay. If all of a
was-
sudden something goes, oof, like that.
That was cruel.
Oh, it's you. Well, and he's like rubbing his head around the horns.
Sorry.
That's okay. You're back already?
A little detour, certainly. I spotted in one of your books that were upon the counter. Unfortunately, I don't have the thing written down. I think I did write it down. I think I've lost it somewhere. I'm not sure where. A particular kind of mushroom that was mentioned on a page.
The mirror flesh.
Yes.
Is that am I making that up?
No, it definitely. I think it was a myrophage.
Myrophage or
I
something.
think it was that. It definitely ended in phage. I will say myrophage.
I have written down mirror flesh at Cuthbert, quote unquote mirror flesh.
How's that spelled?
Miraphalge. And I had it in quotation marks, so I think I got that spelling from you specifically.
Myrophage, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I found myrophage. Myrophage?
Phage, yeah. Oh. You got it.
Is it of some interest to you?
Yes!
Or,
Let me see.
Yes. It's not dangerous, is it? We found it in quite a dangerous place.
You didn't eat any, did you?
No.
Oh no.
Then
He
it's
like
fine.
turns to you and goes, "No."
Then it's fine.
Sorry. And it's fine. Excellent. So he has it like wrapped up just in case it will present it.
Yeah, so he'll like unwrap it and just grab it with his bare hand and like hold it close. And like stare at it with his big bug eye spectacles. Yes. This is the best specimen yet. And he like
Good news.
finds a random notebook and like flips to an empty page and begins scribbling. And he says, "What's this?" And he squeezes it, and out the top, there's like this secretion of sort of like this very kind of viscous liquid that begins dripping down. It drips onto his hand. He's like, "Ow, ow," and like kind of.
It's definitely a quick half step back. When that happened. Should you be doing that?
I'm the expert.
This seems like a bad idea from this side of the counter.
Also looked like it hurt.
Yes, it did, but we'll make sacrifices in the name of science.
Indeed. I didn't see very many more of them.
Yes, they're quite rare.
Okay. He kind of like is like dragging this out. Like, is it worth anything?
Yeah, can we have anything for bringing you this?
He sort of frowns at you and says, well,
Please.
since you asked so nicely,
Tanith grins, but it's kind of lopsided because of the scar on her face.
he says, I'll give you some gold for this one, and if you bring me more, I'll give you more gold.
Seems like a reasonable bargain.
He counts out 20 gold coins onto the counter.
Very well. 5 gold each.
Tanith nods, takes her 5.
Okay.
Once he's done that, he's just sort of ignoring you now, and is like scribbling and staring at his mushroom.
We have some
You're
other stuff too.
He's not looked
There's
up.
more, and like Tanith will look at Aval.
Okay. Absolutely. Do you still have them, or am I holding on to them, or?
Oh yeah, I kind of assumed. Yeah.
I mean, I
Tanith.
wrote them down, but
Yeah.
you seem intrigued. If you pass them over to him or something else, he will just mention.
I
Everyone
think
keep...
it was more a look of help. He's not looking.
Okay, right. I will just mention Tanith, probably hears. I think everyone probably hears Aval kind of almost under his voice, just a polite. Everyone, look out for these, because we can make some money from these mushrooms. He'll take the necklaces. Cuthbert,
Yes.
do you have the ability to identify magic items or essences?
Of course.
I know the mushroom is fascinating, but we have a few items here that maybe you could just take a look at. We believe them not to be dangerous, but if you had any knowledge on them, it would be helpful.
He like sighs and puts aside the mushroom in the notebook and
Please.
looks up. Yes, okay, fine. We'll like snatch
yeah,
one of the necklaces from you. Like holds out his fingers towards it, and you see like a faint purple glow, and his eyes kind of like, it's like someone's dropped a drop of purple ink into water on his eyes, and they sort of like slowly turn purple. And he says, yes, this first one is necklace of prayer beads.
Excellent. Any consideration for what it does?
Prayers? I don't know. Just, you know.
Is that a Rob?
So he doesn't
going?
explain what the magic item does, or is it just we should?
Yeah, it does. It does magical prayers, like heals you
Magical
up
prayers.
and makes water smell good. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you. It was more than we had to go on before, and I will like delicately pass them back to Tanith.
So, this one has a bead of favor, a bead of blessing, a bead of smiting. Oh, nice. And your boy crit. You're welcome. A bead of wind walking.
Interesting.
So you can. It's on page 182 of your DMG, unless I assume you're all just using D&D Beyond,
Yeah.
but whatever.
Favor, blessings,
Windwalking?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Thank you very much, sir. And the second necklace?
Yes, and he does the same. He's using spell slots to cast this, by the way. He's
I
Wanting to get
understand that we're not waiting for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I do appreciate it.
and he goes through and he says, "This one's the necklace of health. It keeps you healthy, makes you a bit stronger. That one bumps your constitution up to 19.
Does it now? That is
Yes.
a considerable boon.
Can I go back to my mushroom now, please?"
I would not dare to keep you from it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. He's just bent over the notebook and the mushroom.
Who looks the palest and wan? Who needs the necklace of Constitution?
My con is a 14.
I actually have a 16 because Avril is tanky. Anor?
My con is 16 as well.
No.
Renok? What's your con? I assume it would be higher just because he's a barbarian, but
And he's also got.
I was muted. I have an 18.
Oh, well.
it won't benefit him at all then.
Not really, no.
No, give him a +1.
What's up, babe? Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Um,
I had a tiny little person opening up the door like a teeny tiny crick.
I want to do.
Tanith, perhaps you'll benefit from both these gifts.
You think so?
Unless you wish to share the prayer beads. Can they be used by people of non-divine origin?
It has to be
Has to.
paladin,
No, they
cleric, or
can't.
druid.
No.
Yeah.
They are both for you.
Oh,
Uh,
that is
Kind? She says awkwardly, holding them.
just, it's all to aid our eventual success. So,
Thanks.
put them to good use, I guess.
I will. I will, she says, kind of like straightening up some.
Very well. So we've done mushrooms, we've done necklaces. Neither of those are attunement, or oh no, the prayer beads are.
I think they should both be. I'm not sure about the necklace.
They could both be.
They're both rare, so.
For some reason, even though I told it to add my
The
necklace, it did not add them. So let me add
The
one.
necklace certainly is of prayer beads.
Yeah.
the necklace
Yeah.
is the,
The amulet
amulet.
wire is as well.
Yeah,
Right.
she's gonna need to
Attuned.
spend some time attuning. Yeah.
Right. Necklaces, mushrooms, bank. We just have shopping for potatoes and oil, and a dinner, and then accommodation.
You've booked out your room at the Cliff Catch for like 2 weeks, I think it was. Like I'm
Oh,
something
right.
about that.
Wait,
So
was that
yeah,
a down payment from?
yeah, like it's
the powers that be?
the yeah, your sponsors are covering all that. So
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Potatoes and oil. He says, like clapping his hands and moving to the door. And I'm sure anyone else would be slightly disturbed by how random that is, but I'm sure he's very busy with his mushrooms. It's Cuthbert, so
yeah, Cuthbert doesn't even realize you're still here.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Sorry,
you,
I was just making notes of the beads.
yeah. Do you have which ones you had? Cool.
Blessing, favor, smiting, windwalking.
Yeah, I rolled well on that shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to take them out of my inventory.
Inventoire.
Just put them in the chat if it saves you any time.
Just got it done, but thank you, sir.
No problem. I suppose I can get rid of the mushroom too. I'll make a note of it.
Very well. You can start your mushroom acquiring business.
Indeed, profitable.
Yeah.
Like getting all the cheese wheels in Skyrim.
Yeah. So, you all make your way to Benius, I think I said.
Benius.
Yeah.
Benius.
You make your way to Benius's general store, where he seems slightly less busy than when you first met him. If you recall, it was
Okay.
pretty packed at that time, but it seems to
Indeed.
slow down in the afternoon as everyone's busy. And he beams at you as you all enter. He says, hello. What can I do for you all?
Hello, dear Benius. I have 2 requests of you this time. They are unrelated. Could I have as much oil as you have in stock, potentially, and enough potatoes for a meal of 6?
Large potatoes.
Large potatoes. Thank you. I know. Thank
Of
you.
course. We'll deal with the oil first, I suppose. I have several types: olive oil, sunseed oil, or unless
okay.
is it oil for your skin? I do have some of those too.
Lamp
Yes.
oil.
When I said unrelated, yes, lamp oil, not cooking oil.
Oh, my apologies. Of course.
Absolutely. Easily mistaken.
Yes, we have only one variety of that, I'm afraid. But how much do you require?
Again, as I said, perhaps as much as you carry.
Oh,
A considerable amount, anyway, if you could estimate.
of course.
I have.
Let me just have a look here, and he sort of like heads off into a kind of back room. It's a very weird request for him.
Indeed. I mean, it could have been weirder. I could have said, if you had a corridor of 100 feet and all sides were roughly humanoid figures, and you wanted to set each and every one of them alive,
Yeah, if you came in and
how
be
much
like,
oil would that be?
what's the way to dispose of 100 square feet of corpses? Yeah, and so
Is the
he'll...
right place to have gone for this? Should we have like gone to like somewhere else?
Another oil seller?
Oil seller.
I don't know. Is there like, there's like coppers and smiths. Is there an oil list? Kenneth like says awkwardly.
Generally, the general store is where you would get these types of goods.
Who makes oil like that? Is it?
Oil dwarves.
I don't know.
It would depend on what it's made from.
I'm not sure there's any particular artisans for oil. This is about the only general store this place has, I think.
If it's from animal fat, would a butcher have a bunch?
But then we'd probably have to like make it ourselves. You just have
Yes,
to
we
find
might
it.
need to render it down from the fat.
Oh yeah.
We could buy the tallow. Maybe that's all we need.
Am I overthinking it?
He comes back
might be
in
overthinking
at this
it.
point.
I mean, we could go into like medieval economics or something. Who specializes in what?
So he comes back in. He's got like a kind of small, just slightly larger than fist-sized clay pot, and he says, "So most of our oil comes in these, and these are a silver piece per. We do have some larger ones, several. I estimate, well, enough to fill several baths with."
Okay. How much would your several baths worth of oil be?
Well, we've got about 35 of these small pots at a silver apiece, and we've got about 5 of the large pots, and they're 25 gold apiece. but that oil is premium,
Oh, okay.
generally used for, it's smokeless, so it's a bit more
Okay.
in demand.
The task ahead of us does not require a premium touch.
Although it might be helpful not to fill that.
25 gold a piece for an amphora of oil. Do we think 35 handheld, almost projectile grenade like
Yeah.
pots would
So
be enough?
I've been looking this up. One of those covers. Let me see. Covered in oil. Yeah. So it does like one person or a 5-foot square area.
So that's 35
5-foot
squared.
squares. Yeah. But I mean, fire isn't 2-dimensional, so it would definitely. You reckon?
Spread.
Yeah, you reckon 35 is just about enough?
I mean, yeah, that would directly affect a third of the corridor. Well, possibly like a third-ish of the corridor, and maybe the oil will splash between.
Well, you'd need 20 of them to get all the way there on one side, and so you've got 15 more to sort of chuck around the rest of it.
Sure. But we're hoping the flame will spread.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So you reckon this is probably a good amount?
Probably enough. Okay, so the 35 pots of silver apiece is
Perhaps
a good start.
some cloth to use as a wick. Light and throw.
Yes.
Will we be able to carry 35 of those fist-sized pots?
In a pack? Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have
You reckon you could share the load between your packs if you make a little space? And Benius will sort of be watching you with a nonplussed expression and say, might I just ask, I'm incredibly curious, what exactly is this for?
Yeah, there's a moment where we all go, looking at each other.
We
Clear
need
out.
to kill a room full of zombies.
Yeah.
He like cuts across the end of that.
What?
Cleansing, with
Ah.
fire.
Well, if it's undead you're going for, they catch pretty quick, but, well, we often use something a little bit more vitriolic.
Like acid?
Oh.
No, it's this new product from the south. And you like reach up to one of the shelves and pull out this tiny like ink pot sized little flask. They call it flash powder or steel powder or something like that. It's well, it's like oil but more concussive.
It seems like a bad idea. These things are damaged structures.
You mean
but
bomb? I think he means bomb.
what's a bomb?
Yeah, what's a bomb?
You've encountered this before, I see.
Her orc has all of the
Ah, you're an orc. You must be from the south, of course.
Yes.
Yes.
You know those southern orcs.
Yes. This, the southern orcish
So we have quite a large
pirates.
area to cover.
Yes, well,
To clear.
What is he calling it? What is he calling it? Real quick.
hmm?
What was he calling it?
Steel powder.
Steel powder. Thank you.
And he says, yes, well, I mean, these are good for 1 or 2 undead, but I would really recommend a mixture, you know. Get some oil down, use the...
See, these things are rather contained.
Oh.
And will this steel powder damage their containment?
If you had enough of it, it would, but just a small amount is usually enough to get a roaring blaze going without too much of an explosion.
Right. So to clear a considerable area, are you suggesting that we use the 35 pots of oil to prepare the area, and then these steel powder explosives of a...
As a
As a light?
supplementary measure.
Okay.
Do we mix
As
it with the
ignition.
oil?
Oh, don't mix it. But
I think we lay the oil and then we apply the
yes.
steel powder forcefully.
To the face. Yes, very much so.
Very well. 2? 4? How many steel powder?
Well, I'll be honest with you. May not be my best salesman tactic, but a little goes a very long way with this stuff. I doubt you'll need more than one.
Do you believe it to be consumed by this act, or is there...
Very much so, yes.
Very well. And the steel powder comes to...
Oh, this pot is 10 gold.
I kind of look to the others for a group consensus.
I'll help with whatever.
He says that one pot will do us. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
10
Yeah.
gold a pot, 1 pot will do us, and it's 3 gold, 5 silver for the 35 pots of oil.
I'll cover the oil.
I can pay for half the.
I can pay for the entirety of the powder if you wish.
No, I could pay for it. I could pay for all of it if that's where we're going.
Or I can half. Up to you.
If we have it, I mean,
Done. The mushroom has paid for everything, and a little profit for some. We shall have to look out for more of those.
we shall.
Very well. We have our solution. Is this something that, can be carried quite safely and until you will not explode?
Oh, yes. Just keep it away from an open flame and you should be fine.
Very well.
What about our potatoes?
Oh, of course. My apologies.
We almost walked out of here without those potatoes.
Aren't you glad that you brought them?
This is why we don't split up.
Never split the party. Yeah. He will return with...
I just love how blunt Tanner is. What
It's
about those
fantastic.
potatoes?
He's not quite that gruff, but yeah.
I'm seeing like the full spectrum of C here. It's like Tanith on one end, Indra on the other, and Abrishmin is the middle ground.
Elephant's on there somewhere.
Yeah, Elishan's in between Abrishmin. So next we're gonna get like somewhere between Abrishmin and Tanith, I guess.
I am just glad that y'all can tell a difference between my PCs. That's all I ask. I'm so happy.
Yeah, so he comes back with a baker's dozen of boulder-sized potatoes.
12 large potatoes.
Baker's dozen, Dan.
How much?
13 then.
Quanta questa.
You should always add one extra when it's like, okay, 2 potatoes each seems reasonable, but you add one extra just because you'd rather have more than less.
How much?
I'm so sorry, Jesus.
Oh my god, calm down.
Alright. That's 5 silver, please, for the lot.
Tanith will hand that over.
Most kind of you.
Excellent.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
Could we keep the fact that there's a bunch of zombies between us?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, discretion would be appreciated.
Do you
Thank you
have
very much.
Do you have any of those like specimen things? Said he wanted specimen jars.
Oh, yes. Very good catch, Tanith. Have you got containers, jars?
I have a good deal of glass jars.
Something, a little sturdy that can be in an adventurer's pack of a sort. Half a dozen or something for
Yeah, of course.
intriguing things that can seal.
Yeah, and yeah, he'll come back with several like blown glass jars, good enough to fit a mushroom in.
Okay. And this glassware is?
Very nice. No.
Can we just walk out?
There's not a price tag on it. It means it's free.
So he'll bring you 6, and he'll say 3 silver.
Done, sir. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, you've been most marvelous customers. Is there perchance anything else you require?
I don't believe so. He like looks to the others, ready for someone to shout out something.
Tennis
Wine. We need wine.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we need wine. We're going to dinner. We need wine.
Oh, wine, of course. Do you know what it is you're having?
Zystra.
Zerstra,
A
of
fish
course.
stew of
The
a
fish
sort?
stew, it's
Oh,
local delicacy.
Mitsureki?
Yes.
Yes.
Ah, I have the perfect thing.
Yes, them.
That's a different meal.
What
Uh,
did you say about banana?
he returns with 2 bottles of like a very heavy looking red wine.
How much?
Well, this one is slightly more expensive. This one is going to run you about 7 gold for the bottle. It's a
Mm-hmm.
very nice wine.
And the other?
The other is going to run you for 5 gold pieces.
We're going to dinner with Darvin's widow. We found him. Tanith says this is her trying to negotiate a lower price.
Yeah, I can tell.
Oh,
Oh,
She's
then
trying.
that is very kind, but I suppose then you'll be wanting the more expensive bottle.
we'll take both.
Damn it! I don't even get a roll. Okay.
I mean, would you give you a roll?
I mean, with disadvantage. Yes. She's trying.
Oh,
I mean,
Ava, would you like to split the cost of the wine?
I'll get it.
all 12 gold of it.
Yep.
Very well.
You guys give me really cool necklaces. I can spend 12 gold on some
Okay.
wine.
Very well. 2 bottles of wine will.
I like looked at my sheet and I was like, what happened to my hit points? Oh yeah, my constitution is 19 now.
What's your hit points on now, out of interest?
23, 24. They were 20. So yeah, I got
Okay.
four.
You have more hit points than me.
Uh-huh.
very well. Is there anything else I can get for you?
At the moment, he like
I think that's
tenses
all.
as you like are about to say something.
I think we're good.
Okay, he relaxes.
I can't
Thank you, my dear
interest you in
Benius.
this 600 gold zombie killing sled. No? Alright, fine.
Just
I mean,
pulls
if we
it out
had
from behind the corner.
600. Oh, I see. You're trying to make us feel bad about giving away. the-
No. I'm glad you did.
Thank you for your time, Benius. You have been
Of
a
course,
wonderful
thank you
host.
for your patronage.
It was nice
Sure.
meeting you.
And you, my dear.
I wasn't here last time.
No, you weren't. No, no, I know.
No, she said that out loud. I wasn't here last time.
Okay.
No, and, well, this time has been far more enjoyable for it.
Aw, that was real. And she like turns around.
Yeah. April kind of like leans in to Benius. Oh, Benius, you charmer.
I
You're
am
good at this.
happily married and was in no way trying to insinuate any.
Oh, dude.
I was good day.
Of course. And he gives like a knowing wink. And we'll leave, I guess. After
And so before dinner,
potatoes and
then,
wine.
are there any more chores you would like to accomplish?
No.
I have no
don't
more
know.
gold. No,
Excellent.
Why
Are
you
you
spend all
completely
your
out?
gold?
I have 12 gold. 11 gold.
So
11
okay.
gold.
Can we have one small break and then push on?
No,
Well,
I think
I
that
was
was
yeah, I was
Rob,
going to call it there.
asking for an end of session. Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, I didn't realize the time. Very well.